This is the website that we'll build today. We will go over a basic HTML layout of a website. We will use a header, nav, main, article, section, aside, and footer elements. This tutorial will be over the HTML section only. There is a separate tutorial for the CSS code. The link for the CSS tutorial is in the upper right portion of the screen. You will need the CSS file for this tutorial, which can be downloaded at github.com/A to Z coding. The link to the files is in the description. After downloading the files, place the file main.css in the folder of your choice. Now you are ready to code, so let's go. First, make a file named index.html. Then type an exclamation mark and press enter to make an HTML5 template. After that, change the title to Basic HTML Layout. Next, place header tags between the body tags. A header element usually contains headings and/or navigation elements. Then between the header tag, use an H1 element and type home for its content. Underneath the H1 tag, place a nav element. Nav is short for navigation, and the nav element contains links to other pages or other parts of a web page. Inside the nav element, place a UL element. Follow this by 4 LI elements with tags between each LI element. You can type the emit shortcut LI asterisk 4 greater than A to create the elements. LI is short for list items and UL is short for unordered list, which means that the list items contained within the UL elements have no numerical order. For the first A tag's H reference, type /index.html with the content home. For the second A tag's H reference, type /login.html with the content login. For the third A tag's H reference, type /register.html with the content register. And for the final A tag's H reference, type /about.html with the content about. Next, let's use a main element. The main element contains the main content of a web page. Then place an article element inside the main element. The article element is a complete composition which you could distribute and use elsewhere. Now inside the article element, place an H1 element with the contents My Favorite Foods in New York. After the H1 element, place a section element. A section element is a standalone section on a website. Remember, if you're going to syndicate the contents of an element, use an article element and not a section element. Inside the section element, place an H1 element with the content pizza. Next, use a paragraph tag with the content This paragraph will be all about pizza. Next, copy the section element and paste it after the first section element. Change the H1 content to bagels and the paragraph element's content to This paragraph will be all about bagels. Now create an aside element. Aside elements are used for content that is only tangentially related to the main content. Inside the aside element, place an H1 element with the contents New York. After that, use a P element with the contents New York is a state of the Northeast United States, other info about New York. Next, create a footer element. Footer elements contain things like contact and copyright information. Place a P element with the contents Basic HTML Layout & Copy 2020. If we look at the results in Chrome using Live Server, we see the web page without any CSS styling applied. So let's link our CSS file to our HTML. Now inside the head element, use a link tag with an href of main.css and a rel of style sheet. Rel stands for relationship. So in other words, how the item that we are linking relates to the document. In our case, it is the CSS style sheet. Now copy the contents of the index.html file. Create a file named login.html and then paste into it the contents of index.html. Change the content of the h1 located inside the header to login. Next, create a file named register.html and then paste into it the contents of index.html. Change the content of the h1 located inside the header to register. Finally, create a file named about.html and then paste into it the contents of index.html. Change the content of the h1 located inside the header to about. Now let's see the results in Chrome. You can see the complete website. When you click on Login, you go to the Login page. When you click on Register, you go to the Register page. And when you click on the About, you go to the About page. Please note that there is an app in development that will accompany this channel. When the app is complete, there will be a link placed in the upper right corner of the page that will link to a video about the app. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel. I look forward to bringing you the next lesson, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.